Not all healers are here to heal you. Some are here to harvest you. You think you're stepping into a sacred space, a safe harbor for your soul. But what if that perfectly aligned yoga retreat is actually a trap? What if that glowing guru on Instagram, whispering about inner peace and divine light, is feeding off your trauma, not healing it? Today, we pull back the veil. This isn't just another hot take. This is a psychological survival guide to spotting narcissists in wellness culture, before they devour your energy, your trust, and your wallet. Point 1. The rise of narcissism in the healing industry. The modern healing industry is a billion-dollar beast. And narcissists? They've found their playground. Under the guise of soul work and divine feminine energy, they've built empires on the backs of vulnerable seekers. Behind the smiles and crystals, these individuals construct a carefully crafted identity that blends spiritual authority with influencer appeal. They know exactly how to present themselves as healers. Serene tone, curated aesthetics, just the right blend of ancient wisdom and pop psychology. But what they're truly offering isn't healing. It's dependence. You're not being guided toward liberation, you're being conditioned to stay close, buy more, need them. Their image becomes the brand, and that brand becomes your perceived lifeline. Many enter the wellness space from a place of genuine pain. A breakup, chronic illness, burnout. But narcissists don't see your pain as sacred, they see it as currency. The more broken you feel, the more you'll pay. They position themselves as enlightened authorities, but their light only shines when you're in their shadow. If you try to grow beyond them, you're accused of ego, of betrayal, of not being ready. And just like that, healing becomes a trap, wrapped in sage smoke and serenity. Point 2. Spiritual bypassing, the narcissist's favorite tool. Spiritual bypassing is more than toxic positivity, it's emotional manipulation dressed in enlightenment. Spiritual bypassing lets narcissists avoid accountability while appearing morally superior. They use spiritual jargon to dodge consequences. They say things like, everything is a mirror, don't lower your vibration, or that's just your ego resisting growth. On the surface, these might sound empowering, but in practice, they're used to silence dissent, invalidate your feelings, and keep the narcissist in control. If you raise a concern, they say you're projecting. If you feel hurt, they say it's your inner child acting out. Instead of addressing harmful behavior, they reframe your reaction as your personal failing. This redirection traps victims in a cycle of self-doubt. You stop trusting your instincts. You second-guess your boundaries. You learn that every discomfort is your fault, and the narcissist is always above reproach. Worse, they weaponize healing language to rebrand abusive dynamics as growth. Emotional neglect becomes creating space. Manipulation becomes activating your shadow work. The longer you're in their orbit, the more disoriented you become, because they've hijacked the very language meant to free you. Real healing requires facing discomfort honestly. But spiritual bypassing uses spirituality as a shield, not to heal, but to hide. And narcissists are masters at using that shield to protect their egos, while gaslighting yours into submission. Point 3. Performative vulnerability. True vulnerability is sacred. But when it's scripted, monetized, and filtered through ring lights, it becomes a performance, one designed to disarm you. Narcissists in the wellness industry have learned to mimic emotional openness. They cry on live streams. They post trauma timelines with poetic captions. They share stories of wounds turned to wisdom. But if you look closer, you'll notice something missing. Connection. Cooperation. Accountability. Vulnerability without those things is just content. These performances are designed to manufacture trust. You feel like you know them. You empathize with their story. And in that emotional state, you become more susceptible to their influence. You'll buy their courses because you relate. You'll defend them online because they've been through so much. But the truth is, this is emotional marketing, not connection. The narcissist's story isn't shared for healing. It's weaponized to build a brand. They don't grow from their wounds. They monetize them. And because it looks like transparency, we confuse it for intimacy. We feel seen, even if we've never spoken to them. And in that illusion of closeness, they gain power. Real vulnerability doesn't need an audience. It's messy, often private, and grounded in mutual care. Performative vulnerability, on the other hand, is all spotlight. No soul. And when a narcissist sheds tears to sell a transformation package, that's not healing. That's manipulation in high definition. Point 4. The MLM and coaching industry trap. In coaching and MLM spaces, narcissistic manipulation becomes a business model. The coaching industry and multi-level marketing scenes are largely unregulated, and narcissists thrive in lawless spaces. They present themselves as mentors, claiming they'll help you uplevel, quantum leap, or manifest abundance. But beneath the surface, it's all about control, hierarchy, and blame shifting. These narcissistic leaders set up elaborate funnels of hope, free webinars, limited time challenges, exclusive masterminds. You're sold a dream. Freedom, wealth, sisterhood. But when the results don't come, you're told it's your mindset, your energy, your lack of commitment. And so, you invest again. And again. You're love bombed on the way in, and gaslit on the way out. The deeper you go, the harder it is to leave. You've likely built a community, shared your story, spent thousands. Leaving means losing all that, and admitting you were manipulated. So many stay, hoping the next investment will finally unlock the breakthrough. Meanwhile, the narcissist is living off your loyalty. These structures don't just enable narcissistic behavior, they depend on it. When leaders position themselves as ascended, unquestionable figures, it becomes a spiritual pyramid scheme. Only they hold the keys. Everyone else just has to keep climbing. Or keep paying. Point 5. The cult of personality. Narcissists don't just build businesses. They build cults, with themselves as the supreme being. Once a narcissist in the wellness world gains enough followers, their influence becomes cult-like. Not necessarily with robes and rituals, but with language, loyalty, and hierarchy. They craft a persona that transcends criticism. They're not just a coach. They're an oracle. Not just a speaker, but a divine channel. In these echo chambers, any disagreement is labeled as negativity, ego, or resistance. Followers begin to police each other, parroting the narcissist's language. You are not aligned, that's a scarcity mindset, don't project your wounds onto the leader. It becomes a self-regulating cult, where dissent is expunged by the very people being exploited. The narcissist fosters this through subtle manipulation. They might not directly attack critics, but they imply that questioning them is a sign of low vibration. They suggest that their haters are unhealed, jealous, or stuck in ego. This keeps followers locked in a psychological bind. To question is to regress. To leave is to fall. Meanwhile, the narcissist thrives. Their followers promote their content, defend them online, and reinforce their godlike image. It's not just about belief. It's about identity. Followers internalize the group's language and values so deeply that leaving feels like losing themselves. And that's the ultimate trap. Healing spaces should lead you back to yourself. But a narcissist's cult of personality replaces your intuition with their ideology, and calls it love. Point 6. The energy harvesting. Forget money. The real currency for narcissists is energy. Your attention, your worship, your emotional investment. Narcissists don't just want your money. They want your focus, your reactions, your obsession. In wellness spaces, they harvest this energy by keeping you emotionally activated. Hooked on their stories, their teachings, their crises. There's always a new launch, a new betrayal, a new breakthrough. And you're always in their orbit. This constant stimulation creates a chemical dependency. Dopamine from their love bombing. Cortisol from their vague shaming. Oxytocin from their fake vulnerability. They create an emotional roller coaster. And they are the only ride operator. You're not healing. You're looping. This energy loop keeps you too distracted to question. Too invested to walk away. You mistake the intensity for transformation. You think feeling everything all the time means you're evolving. But really, you're just being drained? Emotionally, spiritually, sometimes even physically. The narcissist feeds on this. Your reactions validate their relevance. Your shares expand their reach. Your breakdowns reaffirm their power. They create dependency, then call it devotion. In truth, no healer needs you to be obsessed with them. No teacher should need your collapse to prove their worth. If your healing feels more like a high-stakes drama than inner peace, you're probably not healing. You're being harvested. Point 7. How to spot them. Want to protect yourself? Learn the red flags. And trust your body when it senses something's off. Narcissists are skilled chameleons, but there are patterns that reveal them. They speak endlessly about themselves, even when pretending to teach. They create scarcity, urgency around offers, limited time wisdom, fear of missing out. They weaponize spiritual language to dodge accountability. They monetize trauma through overexposure. Their community acts more like a fan base than a support group. And most importantly, they make you feel dependent, not empowered. When you're around a true healer, you feel more like yourself, not more like them. You grow stronger, not smaller. You feel curious, not confused. Your energy returns to you. That's the difference. Narcissists confuse love with loyalty. They make healing a transaction. They want devotion, not discernment. But you don't owe anyone your energy, no matter how high vibe their brand looks. Real healing comes with freedom, not contracts, not confusion, not collapse. Point 8. The importance of true healing spaces. Genuine healing is slow. It's grounded. And above all, it's safe. In a true healing space, you're not a product. You're a person. There are no upsells attached to your transformation, no vague promises laced with urgency. There is space to breathe, to question, to feel. Real healers invite dialogue. They welcome boundaries. They don't need your dependence, because their ego isn't built on your submission. They might have wisdom, but they also have humility. They walk with you, not above you. And if you outgrow them, they celebrate that. True healing isn't always pretty. It doesn't always photograph well. But it feels right. Like returning to yourself. If you find that space, cherish it. Because in today's digital maze of illusion, grounded healing is radical. It's rare. And it's real. Healing is sacred. And it's yours. Protect it. If something feels wrong, even if it sparkles, trust your gut. If this video helped open your eyes, subscribe for more deep dives into manipulation, power, and psychology. Share your story in the comments, because your voice might be the light someone else needs.